Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending upon where you are joining us from. Sorry, just making sure my camera is straight. My name is Lauren Kruger. I am the Director of Sales Operations for IFMA, and I am here to talk to you today about 5 things to know about the CFM exam. So today's presentation is going to focus on the CFM exam. I know we have a multitude of other programs and trainings that you might have questions or be interested in. You can always ask those questions at the end. I do like to go through and make sure all questions are answered at the end of the presentation in writing as well. So if you can have any questions throughout the presentation, just type them in the LinkedIn chat. And as I said, after the presentation, I will go through and physically provide a written response to each question asked as well. So if we don't get to it today, if we just have a bombardment of questions and I am not able to get to it, I will get to it in writing afterwards. So hello, I see some of you have already said good morning and welcome. I would love to know where you are joining us from. We do have people from all over the globe attend these webinars. I myself am sitting in Stavanger, Norway. So I've lived here for the past 2.5 years now, and we love it. It's a great place, beautiful country, great place to live. So I'd love to see where everyone is joining from. Typically, we get people from, Asia and Singapore, Hong Kong joining. We get people from Saudi Arabia. I see someone is already joining from Saudi Arabia. And sometimes we get the 1 or 2 who are joining us from the United States who must be up way past their bedtime. So I love to see where you're joining us from. And again, any questions throughout the presentation, please go ahead and type them into that LinkedIn chat. This presentation will be recorded. IFMA houses all of these presentations on our LinkedIn. It will show on LinkedIn, but it will also be included on IFMA's YouTube channel. So if you do have access to YouTube and you have not explored IFMA's YouTube channel, please do. We do these presentations every month, and we typically cover a different topic each month. So if you want to learn more about the FMP or the SFP or what other training options you may have that IFMA provides that you may want, please go to our YouTube channel and you can look through the past webinars that we've done. It's a great source of information. You also get to see me again if you watch the webinar. So please go and explore that when you have time. All right, so we've got people from Nigeria, Rwanda, UAE, Qatar, Poland. I'm actually going to Poland in a few weeks, so that'll be exciting, my first time there. Sweden, my neighbor, hello. So we will go ahead and get started. Again, my name is Lauren Kruger. I'm the Director of Sales Operations for IFMA. I have been with IFMA for 10 years now. I just had my 10-year anniversary last month. So started off in the membership department and am now ended up in our professional development and sales department. So any questions at all you have about membership, events, anything IFMA, happy to help you through this presentation as well. I do want to also showcase our regional representatives. We have Laura Payman is our Managing Director for IFMA EMEA, so that's Europe, Middle East, and Africa. CC Dai is our Managing Director for IFMA China. Mahender Singh is our Director for IFMA India. So if you are in these regions of the world, these are excellent IFMA staff to reach out to. They coordinate trainings locally in those regions of our programs. They coordinate and work with the different IFMA chapters in those regions and events as well. So make sure to check out the specific web pages, the websites for each of these regions. If you're interested in learning more about membership or joining a chapter in those regions, trainings happening locally, or any events taking place. Okay, so just a little bit about IFMA for those who might be new and are not familiar with IFMA. IFMA stands for the International Facility Management Association. So we have been in the industry for over 40 years. We are the leading expert in the industry. We have 139 chapters globally. Chapters, you've heard me mention that a few times already, are going to be physical representation of IFMA in your local city. So we have many chapters in the United States. We have many chapters throughout Europe, China, India, throughout Asia as well. There's a Singapore and a Hong Kong chapter. So we do have a chapter in Nigeria as well. So if you are not a member of an IFMA chapter and want to see if there is one near you, you can go to the IFMA website, and we do have a world map that you can search to see, is there a chapter near you? Those chapters are tremendous resources to network with other professionals. You can see if there's anybody else going through any of these training programs. A lot of the chapters also conduct their own training. So it's a great opportunity to, go through one of the IFMA trainings locally with others in your chapter. So please go check that information out as well if you are not a member of an IFMA chapter. And we have members in over 130 countries around the world with more than 24,000 members. Our mission is to lead the future of the built environment to make the world a better place. And IFMA's vision is to advance our collective knowledge, value, and growth for facility management professionals to perform at the highest level. So this is a brief snapshot of some of the training and credentialing programs that IFMA provides. You'll see the top is highlighted, the CFM. That is what I'm going to focus most of our time on today. I'm going to quickly give you a brief introduction to each of these down here. So we're going to start at the beginner level, which is the essentials of facility management. This is a training program, and we like to say that this training program is for individuals who have less than a year in facility management. Or if you are someone who works within an industry adjacent to facility management or within the built environment in general and are looking to have a career in facility management. This is an excellent program to start with. This is going to give you an introduction to what facility management is. What does a facility manager do? What are the key tasks, roles, and responsibilities? What's the terminology used? You will learn all of that in this 10-module training program here. This is not a credential, it's a training program. You can pick and choose the modules in this training program as well. So you do not have to purchase the entire 10 modules. You can, if there's a specific module you want to go through, whether it be workplace strategy or introduction to FM, you can pick that specific module. The next level we have is our skilled professional. That's going to be our FMP. That's the facility management professional. You're going to learn in this presentation that IFMA has 11 core competencies. Of those 11, the FMP is made up of the foundational 4 competencies. So the FMP covers the foundational 4 that are critical for every practicing facility manager to know. We'll go over a little bit of what those 4 are in upcoming slides, so bear with me. The FMP is a credential. It is a lifelong credential. It is not one that you need to recertify. Then the next level, we have our proficient professional. This is going to be the other core competency courses. So the FMP is made up of the foundational 4, but we also have the other 7 competencies, a course for each one. You can pick and choose what competencies you want more training in. You can use those courses as a way to study for the CFM exam, and we will talk about that in the later slides. But if you just want to gain additional knowledge in the other 7 competencies, if you want to round out your knowledge, you can pick and choose which courses are going to be the most relevant for you. The next level we have is going to be our authority professional. This is our SFP, our sustainability facility professional. So this is a credential that is becoming foundational as much as the FMP, and this is going to provide a very intensive deep dive into sustainability in FM. Then at the top, we have our CFM, which is our Master Professional, and we will go into more information about this in the next slides. Okay, so you heard me mention IFMA has 11 core competencies. These 11 competencies are what define the facility management body of knowledge. So this is the 11 that you see on the screen here. We have these 4 here on the left side because these are the 4 that make up the FMP credential. So you have finance and business, operations and maintenance, leadership and strategy, and project management. These 4 competencies are deemed critical for any professional's job role and responsibility. So this is most likely what you work within on a daily basis. The other 7 are what you see here: performance and quality, communications, real estate, sustainability, occupancy and human factors, information and technology, and risk management. All 11 of these competencies are covered on the CFM exam. So when you go to take that CFM exam, it will ask you questions, ask you specific scenarios that fall within these 11 competencies. So you do need to be knowledgeable in all 11 in order to go and take that CFM exam. And so, like I mentioned, IFMA does provide a specific course for each one of these 11 competencies. So you may decide you just want to review project management. You can purchase this specific project management course. You do not need to purchase the rest of these that make up the FMP. This is a great way that IFMA has organized the training, so you're not having to purchase, more than you need. You can truly understand what your knowledge gaps are, what you want to fill, and pick and choose the competencies in order to fill those gaps. If you are someone who wants all of these 11 courses, we do have bundled packages that provide that for you. If you are someone looking or someone that wants to sit for the CFM exam and you want all of this training, I would really encourage you to stop and take a break and understand, okay, where are your knowledge gaps? Do you really need to go through the 4 that make up the FMP? Like I said, it's likely that you have been working within these competencies on a daily basis and you have 5+ years of experience. If you want the FMP because it does result in a lifelong credential, that's great. I would start there before doing any of these other 7 courses. It is a lot of information that you would be reviewing. So if you are someone that wants to purchase all of these 11 courses, start at the FMP level, complete that training, and then work your way through the other 7. You do not want to purchase all of these at once. Like I mentioned, it is a lot of content. It is a lot of your time going through these programs, and you only have 1 year of access to each of these 7. If you purchase this entire bundle of the FMP courses, you have 2 years of access to complete those. So just bear that in mind. If you are looking to purchase all of these courses, keep that in mind, that it is too much to begin all at once. Start at the FMP level and complete that, and then work your way through these other 7. So the CFM, is there any courses that you must purchase before you sit for the CFM exam? No, there is nothing you have to purchase training-wise before applying for the CFM exam. Okay, I'm going to say that one more time because I know there are a lot of organizations, training organizations out there, especially in the GCC or the Middle East, that are claiming that they provide IFMA training to help you prepare for the CFM exam, and it's something you must do. No, you do not need to take any training to sit for the CFM exam. Now, you may want to prepare for the CFM exam, and if so, IFMA's courses are a way to help you prepare, but it is not required that you purchase any of IFMA's courses in order to sit for the CFM exam. IFMA's courses are there to help you prepare, to help you gain additional knowledge, training, fill knowledge gaps in the 11 competencies. We do have a candidate handbook on our website that is available. It's a very long resource, so there is a ton of information in there, but it is all information that spells out exactly what you should do, what you can expect, what's included in the exam as far as the breakdown of the exam specifications, so that this is a great resource to look at. It is long, so just be warned that it may take you some time if you want to thoroughly review this handbook, but all the information about the CFM exam is within this handbook. And you can download it on ifma.org under the CFM section. So if you want to take the CFM exam, do you meet the requirements? The CFM exam, or the CFM, is a certification. It is not like the FMP in that it is a lifelong credential. The CFM is a certification, meaning it is it's a comprehension exam. So you have to not only know the material, but you have to be able to comprehend and apply what you know to certain scenarios to answer the questions correctly on the exam. So because of that, you do have to have a number of years of experience in FM to sit for the exam. So if you have 5 years or more in facility management, you are eligible for the CFM exam as long as you have experience in the majority of the 11 competencies. So you'll see here, it says you must encompass 6 of the 11 competencies. It would be good to have, knowledge and experience in the majority of them, but 6 is what we're looking for on the application. So if you have 5 or more years of experience, you are eligible to apply for the CFM exam. If you have less than 5 years of experience, the next question to ask yourself is, do you have a bachelor's or master's degree in facility management? There are specific programs around the world from universities where you can have a bachelor's or master's degree in facility management. If that is the case, then your work experience only needs to be between 3 and 4 years. If you do not have a degree in facility management and you do not have the required 5 years, then you are not eligible to sit for the CFM exam. You can prepare yourself. If the CFM exam is your end goal, you can prepare yourself by going through the training to gain additional knowledge while you wait to meet that experience level requirement. That is an option for you. It's not, like I said, it's not something that you need to do. You do have to wait for the work experience, but there are ways that you can already be working to fill those knowledge gaps in yourself in order to even better prepare for that CFM exam. There is an ethics training that is also something you must do when you submit, excuse me, your CFM application. So it is a training that is required for you to pass within 30 days of passing that CFM exam. And we do have an ethics training on the website that you can take. A lot of times companies have similar ethics requirements. You can submit, if your company has something similar ethics training, you can submit that to the credentials department. They will review it to see if that meets the requirements needed for the ethics training for the CFM exam. If you have any questions at all about your eligibility, your work experience, you can contact credentials at ifma.org. The employees in that department will speak with you about your background. They'll look at your resume and work experience and help you understand if yes, you are eligible or no, you're not eligible, so that if you have any questions at all, you can talk with that department to help answer those questions. Okay, so you have submitted your CFM exam. It has been approved by IFMA, and now you have 90 days to schedule your CFM exam. Once your application is approved, you do have to schedule your CFM exam through one of IFMA's Prometric testing centers. There are over 100 plus centers around the world. I'm sorry, there's over 3,000 locations around the world in 80 countries. So it is very likely that you have one or two in a city near you. When you go online, when your application has been approved, you will receive instructions from IFMA about how to log into the Prometric Testing Center, select the CFM exam as the exam you are scheduling, and what are the requirements that you need to either bring with you or not bring with you when you go for your testing day. So, as in what you can expect, it is a proctored exam. So you are going to that Prometric testing location, sitting at a computer and taking that exam. It is 4 hours long and there are 180 questions. There are some breaks are allowed, but it is very restricted as far as what you can bring into the testing center, just to make sure there is no possibility of cheating on the exam. So like no hats. I think they make you check your code at the door. You can't bring in certain things with you. So just read through all of that information when you get that email so that you are prepared and know what to expect when going to take your CFM exam. And as you heard me mention, the CFM exam is a certification. So it is something that you must recertify every 3 years. So that's not retesting, that is recertification. So there is a number of tasks that you must, and activities that you must complete within those 3 years in order to submit your recertification application. So it is important to track and submit 6 professional development activities every 3 years to retain your status. So you'll see we have 4 categories that you can get recertification points on in order to submit that application. We have FM related education, whether that be attending a conference, completing training or education. And what IFMA calls these activities in order to recertify is CFM maintenance points. So if you go through IFMA's course catalog, you'll notice that many of our courses have CFM approved maintenance points. So this is another thing to look at. Once you have your CFM, once it's approved, you've gotten that CFM status and you're looking to maintain it, you can continue to build your knowledge and look through IFMA's courses and see what courses equivalent to, 1 CFM maintenance points or whatever it is, so that you can log those activities and recertify your CFM certification. So we also have FM practice, which is, do you have 750 plus hours of work annually, any volunteering, professional leadership, whether it's serving on, maybe it's an IFMA committee, chapter, or task force, if you mentor other FMs, and then developing the profession. Do you conduct any workshops or presentations? Have you published anything? Those are all activities that you can do to help maintain your CFM certification. And this is important because the CFM is supposed to demonstrate your knowledge and your comprehension of the 11 competencies. So it is very important that you are consistently maintaining your knowledge in the industry, that you are always improving, that you're staying up to date on current trends. All of these are what need to be done in order for you to continue to grow and develop within the FM profession, to show that you are still practicing FM, that you are maintaining your knowledge. So that's why the CFM is something that you must recertify, because you do have to prove that you are maintaining your knowledge, self-improving, and continuing to stay up to date on trends that are happening in FM, because as we know, things change on a daily basis. So it is important to stay up to date on what's happening in the industry. There is a document that you can download so that you have this. It's also included in that CFM handbook, like I mentioned. So if you want to have this in front of you in order to keep track as you go throughout those 3 years, so you're reminding yourself, that's good. You do not want to let your CFM lapse. If you do not submit your recertification in time, you will lose your CFM status. And you cannot just submit your application, a year later. You will have to retake that CFM exam in order to get that CFM status back. So as soon as you have that, you've passed the exam and you have that CFM status, set a reminder, on your calendars to look at it every year to make sure you're doing the activities you need and that you submit that recertification in time, because you do not want to let that lapse. Now, this is where we're going to talk about preparing for the CFM exam. We have a couple different options for you. So if you are like, after looking at this presentation, you say, yes, I'm eligible. Yes, I want the CFM exam. Now, what do I need to do to understand, am I ready? We have a number of different options for you. We have our CFM exam preparation, as well as training courses. So you'll see here this practice exam and exam prep workshops. These are to help you prepare for the CFM exam. The practice exam is going to help you understand how to take a computer-based exam. It's timed. It's also going to help you understand how the questions are asked on the CFM exam. And the exam prep workshop is an instructor-led virtual course. These are done through IFMA. We also have our chapters and our education training affiliates conduct these as well. This is, again, led by an instructor that's going to teach you the methodology behind the exam. So how to use critical thinking in answering the questions. What are the exam specifications? Let's look at the questions together to understand how they're asking these questions in order to answer them correctly. Both of those, the practice exam and the prep workshop, is to help you understand the methodology and prepare for the actual exam. The other courses that you heard me mention, the core competency courses, those are training. So that is not how to prepare for the exam and answer the questions. It is giving you training in that specific competency. So if you're someone that maybe has a knowledge gap in risk management, you can take that training course to gain additional knowledge in risk management to help you prepare for the CFM exam. So it's two different branches of work to prepare for the CFM exam. You can review the methodology of the exam with these two, or you can look at training in any of the core competency courses if you want to fill knowledge gaps. And you heard me mention, we have in-person training or virtual training that many of our chapters conduct, as well as our education training affiliates. So I have a slide a little further on about our education training affiliates. So I know some of you are asking questions about that. Bear with me. We will discuss that in the next few slides. Okay, let me read this question real quick here. So someone is asking, does FM related education or professional leadership in order to recertify your CFM status have to be IFMA related? No, it does not have to be something that you purchase or something that you do through IFMA. If you belong to another FM organization as well and maybe hold a leadership position there, or you attend a conference that is in another FM industry, yes, you can still use those as activities to recertify your CFM certification. So it does not have to be IFMA related. That's a really great question. I'm sorry if I misrepresented that. IFMA provides a lot of resources for you to recertify to get those maintenance points, but it does not have to be within IFMA. You could submit an article or, to another publication globally, and that's absolutely fine. That can be something that you can submit on that recertification application as well. Great question. Thank you for the clarification. So these are some of the main questions that we have on the CFM exam and that, many people have already maybe asked in this presentation. Do you have to be a member to take the exam? No, you do not have to be a member of IFMA in order to apply and take the CFM exam. IFMA does provide member discounts on the application, as well as the recertification application. IFMA also provides member discounts on any of our courses to help you prepare for the CFM exam. So if you are someone that wants to take any of our courses to help you prepare, I would look at the total cost you may spend preparing, submitting your application, and determine if a membership is something that you should look into to save you money in the long run. There are different tiered prices for IFMA membership depending on what country you are coming from. The base membership of IFMA for Tier 1 countries is going to be $239. The price difference between the member CFM application and non-member CFM application, I believe, is around $300 US dollars. So already you will be saving money if you purchase a membership. Not saying that you have to do that. I'm saying just take a look and see what makes the most sense for you. Can you retake the CFM exam if you fail? Yes, IFMA is offering a free retake of the CFM exam. So if you do fail that first time, then yes, you can retake it again for free. There is a time limit to wait for that, to take that CFM exam. And I want to say it is maybe 6 months. I can look that up and I can type that into the chat afterwards, after the presentation. But that is, just to allow you enough time to review the material, maybe study a little bit more before attempting the CFM exam again automatically. How do you know if you are ready to take the CFM exam? IFMA does offer a self-assessment that is very, very comprehensive. It is 300 questions. It goes into each of the 11 competencies and sub-competencies. And when you finish that assessment, it can define for you in what areas you are weaker than others. So that's a great way to then understand, okay, maybe I should just purchase risk management and communications and performance and quality and review those training courses. It's a way for you to pinpoint exactly where your gaps are so that you can pick the courses that are appropriate for you. We also have a paper training, a self-assessment that is very similar, but it's more of just you asking yourself questions rather than something, that you have an actual program on, IFMA, the self-assessment. So that self-assessment tool that I mentioned is 300 plus questions. It's located within our what we call CAMP, which is our Credentials, Applications, and Maintenance program. That's where you will be submitting your CFM exam. It's located there as well. I believe it is $50 US for non-members of IFMA, and that is something that will stay with you for life. So when you purchase that self-assessment online, it is you can take that assessment to understand your gaps. But then once you've completed any of the training courses at IFMA, you can then enter that information into that self-assessment online by saying, I've completed the FMP or I've completed the risk management course. And it will update that for you so that you are constantly getting updated assessments of your gaps so that it's going to suggest additional courses for you. So it's a great resource to have. As long as IFMA makes that available, you will have the access to it to continuously log in and understand where your gaps are, what other courses it may suggest for you. And then how do you know if your experience qualifies you for the exam? Please do reach out to the credentials department if you have any questions on your experience. Do you have to be an FMP to take the CFM exam? No, you do not. Like I said, the only eligibility requirements are that you must have at least 5 years of experience. Many people start at the FMP and work their way up to the CFM, especially if they don't quite meet the eligibility requirements yet. So that is a path many people take, but it is not a requirement. And why should you take the exam and earn the CFM exam? The CFM exam is the pinnacle credential in the industry. It is something that demonstrates your knowledge, your credibility, and your comprehension of that knowledge. So it says you have mastered the 11 competencies, you have that CFM exam, you are a master level professional that is there to provide, excellent services for your organization that you currently work with. We're seeing many job descriptions requiring CFM exam for jobs posted lately. So if you are looking at this because maybe you're looking for a promotion or for an additional position that's requiring the CFM credential, many people will pursue that because of that. Someone asked again about the facility, if they hold a facility management degree, does that reduce the years of experience? So yes, I'm going to go back real quick here to this slide. Again, if you have a bachelor's or master's in facility management, you need 3 to 4 years of experience in facility management to be eligible. So having a degree in FM does reduce the number of years experience for you. If you do not have that degree, you need 5 or more years of experience. Someone asked if some of the core competency courses have been included already in a master degree that they have, and should they pursue the competency courses again? My question to you is maybe one, when did you get your master's degree? If it was, even if it was 2 years ago, it's likely a lot of information has been updated. IFMA does update our programs constantly. So we have these 11 core competencies were defined by our job task analysis survey. You might have seen a survey that in your inbox back at the beginning of the year around January or February. The results from that survey are sifted through by subject matter experts that define the core competencies. So IFMA is consistently updating our content based on the current function and job roles and responsibilities of a professional facility manager. So when you take IFMA's courses, you're getting up-to-date content. It is being constantly refreshed. You can be sure that you are getting the most relevant information. So if this is something that you might have taken many years ago, it would be beneficial to you to go through some of these programs again, because as I mentioned, so much has changed in facility management, even, pre-COVID. So it is something to, look at. We provide information of the content on each of these courses on our website so that you can review and understand, should this be something that you take again. And that falls into the category also of lifelong learning, constantly staying up to date, to want to pursue what is the new trends, what is the updated content out there. So just because you may have taken something one time doesn't mean that you fully understand that competency for the rest of your life, because it is constantly changing. It is constantly being updated. So that just falls into the category of lifelong learning, and whether you want to pursue that lifelong learning. Nobody knows everything for all of time. So much changes in the industry. So that, again, would be something that I would look at. If you are unsure the CFM is right for you, or if you don't meet the eligibility requirements yet, we have a really quick survey. It's a few questions. It asks your experience level, some degrees that you have, and from that, it can say, okay, based on how you've answered this survey, we suggest looking at essentials. We suggest looking at the FMP. This is not saying you should start at those programs. This is a really quick survey to say, based on what you've told us, we think you should look more into the FMP. So this is just a quick survey for you to do, like I mentioned, or if you have some employees that you want to pass this off in your department to understand maybe where they should begin to start looking, that is an option as well. Okay, so our training affiliates. IFMA does have a number of approved education training affiliates globally. We do have a website that tells you who all is approved to conduct IFMA training and to provide these courses. If you have a question about any program that you may have taken from a training organization already that is claiming to be an IFMA partner, you can double check that by going to this website. You can also contact IFMA and we can look into it for you. As I mentioned earlier, there are a number of organizations out there claiming that they provide IFMA training, IFMA, CFM, preparation that are not in any way associated with IFMA. So if you are looking at taking a course locally, please make sure that it is an organization that is approved by IFMA. When you take a course through an IFMA approved education training affiliate, you will be receiving IFMA materials. You will be receiving the same quality of content, the same quality of learning as you would if you took the program yourself online. You will also be taught by an IFMA approved instructor. Our training affiliates can only use IFMA approved instructors. And these instructors have already gone through these programs. They have worked with IFMA to be deemed qualified to teach our programs so that you are going to receive the best quality learning from these instructors. If you go to another organization that is not approved by IFMA, I cannot guarantee you what you're learning, what materials you're receiving, and who is teaching it to you. They could have gotten someone off the street that claimed they have the CFM, but actually doesn't have the CFM. So just make sure, as with anything in the world that you do, double check that what you are doing is approved by IFMA. It is coming from IFMA so that you are getting the quality content, the actual programs, you're getting the right information about what you must or must not do to prepare for the CFM exam. So it's very important that you are double checking that. Someone asked, what is the percentage that you need to achieve for passing the CFM exam? IFMA does not disclose that. It is not it's not, you can't, it's not you have to get a certain number right or a certain percentage right. It is simply pass fail. So you will not, when you pass your CFM exam, all it will say is you passed. It will not give you any score. It will not give you any percentage of what you did on that exam correctly. Same if you fail. It will not tell you how many you got right or wrong. It will not give you a percentage. It'll simply say fail. So, and that's, again, important because it's not about achieving a certain score, just getting to a certain score. It is about, do you understand and have knowledge in the 11 competencies, and can you apply that knowledge to the exam questions? So a score is not relevant. Let's see. Tell us some tricks to pass the exam. Study is going to be my trick. Also, if you are near a local chapter, I would see if there's anybody that has the CFM exam near you that you can ask questions about. What tips or tricks did they do? If you attend one of IFMA's CFM preparation courses, that CFM Exam Prep, that's led by an instructor, they will often give you tips and tricks for preparing and passing the exam. That's what that course is about. It's how to look at those questions so that you answer them correctly. Because many people go into that exam thinking, okay, this is how I do it in my organization in the UAE. So this is how I'm going to approach the question that is asked of me on the CFM exam. And that's not how you need to approach those questions. This exam is written from a global perspective. So those questions are asking how you should approach a certain situation from an ideal scenario. It may not be how you handle it in your organization, but you have to answer it from an ideal scenario. So it's very different thinking. And so taking that CFM prep workshop can help you understand that. Taking that practice exam online is a great way for you to understand the questions and how they're asked. Again, that's the exam preparation side. So definitely I would look at those courses to see if that's something you should take. Is it required to complete all 11 core competencies to get the CFM certification? No, you do not need to do any training to prepare for the CFM exam. The only thing is meeting the eligibility requirements, which are your years of experience. If you have 5 or more years of experience in the majority of the 11 competencies, you are eligible to sit for the CFM exam. IFMA provides training in 11 core competencies in order to help you prepare, fill knowledge gaps, but it is not required that you do any training at all. You have to have the experience level first to apply for the exam. Which competency should you study prior to taking the exam? I can't tell that to you. That's completely up to you. Like I mentioned, we have our online self-assessment tool that you can purchase, and it goes through 300 questions of the 11 competencies. From that self-assessment, once you complete all those questions, it's going to tell you what competency you are weakest in. From that information, you can then decide, okay, it's telling me that I have no confidence in my assessment of communications. I have no confidence in my assessment of risk management. Maybe you should look at purchasing those 2 courses. So you really truly have to understand your work experience and your confidence level in your knowledge of those competencies in order to apply for the exam. I hope I answered that question correctly. I don't know what your work history is or experience, so I can't provide that feedback to you, but we do have a tool that you can use in order to really understand your gaps in knowledge so that you can continue to train in those specific competencies to prepare for the CFM exam. You may also decide you want to, purchase a book or do some additional reading outside of IFMA to prepare, and that's completely fine as well. There's no training required. You can do what you need to prepare for that CFM exam. You do not have to purchase any of IFMA's courses. We provide these courses and resources to help you prepare, but again, it is not required. Someone's asking which holds more weight with certain certifications, whether it's an IFMA CFM or, a BOMA IFMA. We've had, questions about specific certifications in specific industries like, hospital certifications. Or retail certifications. And my answer to you is it's going to depend on what your career goals are. I will also say that IFMA's programs or credentials, including the CFM exam, are global. So when you have the CFM exam, it is globally recognized. It is something that you can take with you to any industry within the built environment, in any building. So whether you are currently in, corporate facilities and you then move to academic facilities, that CFM exam is going to carry the same weight in academic facilities as in corporate facilities, so that you are going to still be able to apply what you've learned, your knowledge, in a different industry. Completely different buildings, completely different industry. You can take that certification with you. If you have a specific certification in a specific industry, like let's say within, a hospital certification within facility management, if you, for some reason, were to leave that industry and go to corporate facilities, that specific credential is not going to follow you to the corporate facilities because it's specific to hospitals. So just keep that in mind when you are looking at other certifications. If you want to stay within hospitals for the rest of your life, you don't see yourself leaving that, then great. Maybe that is the best certification for you for your career goals. If you're someone who's looking to want to get a job with a global company, somebody who has FMs, in the United States, in China, in Europe, having a global certification is also going to make you more desirable with that organization as well, because you're able to communicate with those FMs globally and help and use your knowledge globally because of that CFM certification. So think about that as well. Are you looking to stay locally? Are you looking to eventually maybe work for a global company like Amazon or Google or Pfizer? So just keep that in mind when you're looking and examining what your career goals are, what is the best use of your time and money to get the credential that you need for your career. Someone asked if they can share the Career Compass link again. I have it on the screen here. You can also find it on our IFMA website. You can take that quick survey, like I mentioned, really short questions to help guide you to maybe where you should start looking. Well, this is the end of our time. You guys asked really great questions. I really hope that I was able to answer them as best as I could. If you have any other questions for me, you can type them in the chat. Even after this presentation, I'll go back and answer them. You can reach out to myself and my team at Corporate Connections. It's corporateconnections@ifma.org. And then we have some discount codes for you on the screen here. If you were interested in purchasing any of those competency courses, you can use those training codes. Someone asked real quick how to get exam assessment questions. So if I'm interpreting your question correctly, I think you're asking if you fail the exam, do you get an assessment of the questions that you failed? No, IFMA does not provide an assessment for that. What you will get is a document. If you fail the CFM exam, IFMA will give you a document that says, I believe, what your lowest scoring 3 competencies were. So you will know what competencies you should focus additional study time in before you take the retake. And again, we are offering a free retake. So if you do fail, knock on wood, that doesn't happen because you studied beforehand. But if that does happen, then we do offer a free retake. Okay. Thank you all for your time today. These were great questions. I hope everyone, if you joined in the middle or at the end and you missed anything, please watch this presentation again. It will be circulating on LinkedIn on IFMA's channel. And I said that these are included in IFMA's YouTube channel. So if you do have access to YouTube, I would recommend going through the series of webinars that our team does. It's great information. It's likely we've already answered your question in these presentations. So if you joined in the middle or towards the end, please go back and watch this. And if you still have questions, we're always here to help and support you in your journey to achieving that CFM exam. So you can contact us at any time, and we can talk about experience. We can talk about what courses are right for you, what's the best path. That's what we're here for. All right. Thank you guys so much for your time today. I really appreciate it, and have a great rest of your day.